Now today I am teaching you about muscular tissue. Muscular tissue and another thing before that, one thing I want. I am teaching at present histology. Later on I will shift it to the head and neck. But being showing you the slides in the microscope and drawing the diagram over the board, still the students are not properly made diagram in the theory class, in theory exam. Why? Why don't you understand? If you don't understand, ask twice or thrice, but make the diagram correctly. Many times I told you that in histology, if you will not draw the diagram properly and not leveled it, you will not get the marks. And I don't want more thing. I want proper diagram, well leveled, and the examples where you find such tissue. Enumerate the examples. In every class I am telling you the examples and all that. Why don't you take the class notes? So don't repeat this thing. See the slide properly. After 1 month, the lab will start. The enumeration of the lab will be completed within 1 month. Then every student will have the microscope and the slide box. You have to focus your on the slide and see the each and every point which we teach you. Okay, so don't go in the confusion. See the slide properly and everything. At present we are just telling you the general classes. Later on you will get the slide of tissues in which you have to focus the connective tissue, muscle, nerve supply, blood supply, everything. Understand? So don't we go in any confusion. Okay. Muscle, the muscular tissue, as in previous beginning class, I had told you that tissues, basic tissues of the bodies are how much? 4. Out of these basic tissue, the muscular tissue is one of the basic tissue of the body. And this muscular tissue is consisting of contractile muscle fibers. So we can say that muscular tissue is a contractile part of the body, contractile tissue of the body. Now why it is contractile? The reason is the muscular tissue, as the name indicates, that it means it's consisting of muscle fibers. The muscle fibers, the cell and fiber. The cells of the muscular tissue is named as myocytes. And these cells, they are generally elongated muscle fibers, consisting of elongated muscle fibers. When we are using the word muscle, that means it is consisting of bundle of the muscle fiber. It is consisting of bundle of the muscle fiber, and each muscle fiber is having the cell, and it is consisting of, as we are using the word contractile tissue. So the muscle fiber consisting of contractile protein, and these contractile proteins are actin and myosin. The contractile proteins present are actin and myosin. One thing. Another thing, that the muscle, on the basis of the structure and functional aspect, we classify the muscles into 3 cadres. These are, the first one is the skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscles, also named as contractile muscles or voluntary muscles. So all are the same. If anyone asks you voluntary muscle, that means also the skeletal muscle. Contractile muscle is not the proper, but we say the skeletal muscle. Why we use the word skeletal muscle? Because the muscle fiber are attached with the bones. Second, cardiac muscle. I am telling you the classification of the muscle on the basis of the structure and function. First is the skeletal muscle, second is the cardiac muscle, and third is the smooth muscle. So these are the different type of the muscle which we will discuss. In the last class, when you were seeing the slide of tendon, ligaments and these, I have shown you also the slide of this which is focused now. That is the LS longitudinal section of the tendon. See the diagram. It is consisting of collagen fibers. All these are the collagen fibers. The bundle of collagen fibers, in between the bundle of collagen fibers you are seeing the flattened nuclei. Okay. Now try to understand. Such picture you will also see in the skeletal muscle. I am clear all the things. Such pictures also seen in the skeletal muscle, longitudinal section. The reason is, if you are not seeing the slide properly, you will see the same picture. So you may miss that. You may label the skeletal muscle as a LS of tendon, because the nuclei are flattened, multiple nuclei. The same multiple nuclei on the periphery of the skeletal muscle fiber you will see. I don't want any murmuring. The students who are still behaving not properly, get up. I am telling you, third person. Yes, you, get up. What do you want? Then I have wasted my 10 minutes time before starting the class. Still you are behaving like that. खुद नहीं पढ़ते हो, दूसरों को नहीं पढ़ने देते. अगर नेक्स्ट टाइम मेरे को देखने को मिला ऐसा, आई विल टर्न यू आउट. कर जाओ. So, to differentiate this, I will come to the another point, but in skeletal muscle, you will see the transverse striations. That means transverse line like this, horizontally, which are named as striations. So my point is this, that see the slide carefully. Check the each point. No doubt, multiple nuclei, flattened nuclei on the periphery. Pink color fibers you will see of collagen fibers and muscle fibers are looking same. Only the difference remaining is that in skeletal muscle you will see the transverse striations which are not seen here. Because of that I am showing you this slide. This is transverse section of the tendon. The slide I have not shown you in the practical class. In this you see that bundles are seen, and these are the bundles of collagen fibers. And another point is you are seeing the multiple nuclei in the center of the bundle. See this high power. The nuclei which are the fibroblast nuclei, and they are seen multiple in number inside the transverse section of the tendon. In case of skeletal muscle transverse section, you will see the nuclei are situated on the periphery, and they are only one of each muscle fiber or periphery nuclei. Just remember, the nuclei are seen at the periphery in transverse section of skeletal muscle. That I will show you. Okay, now come to the different parts. As I am telling you, the classification of the muscle, we classify the muscle on structural and functional aspect in the skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle and smooth muscle. See the diagram of each. In the skeletal muscle, The muscle fibers, they are elongated. Listen carefully. Elongated muscle fibers. The muscle fibers elongated everywhere, but their length becomes shorter. In case of cardiac muscles, no doubt the elongated muscle fibers, their length is shorter. But in skeletal muscle fiber, the length is large. And another important point, they are multinucleated. See, the nuclei are flattened and seen on the periphery. Multinucleated, and the nuclei are seen on the periphery. Flattened nuclei on the periphery. Multinucleated. Another important part, you will see first these are the striations. Okay. So in skeletal muscle, longitudinal section, not in transverse section. I am telling you first the longitudinal section. In LS of skeletal muscle fiber, flattened peripheral nuclei, elongated muscle fiber, and striations, transverse striations. Another important part which you make underline, no branching of the muscle fiber. Underline that. No branching of muscle fiber. Muscle fibers are multiple, running parallel to each other, but there is no branching. Underline the branching. The reason is because in cardiac muscle, you will also see the elongated muscle fiber, nuclei number less. They are 1 or 2 in each muscle fiber. Their position is different. It is centrally present. And besides all these, the cardiac muscle fiber are branched. Because of that, I am telling you that underlying no branching in the skeletal muscle fiber. See the next, cardiac muscle. The muscle fiber are still branching. You can see the branch. Elongated muscle fiber, no doubt. The length of the muscle fiber are shorter compared to the skeletal muscle fiber. So muscle fiber are elongated, but length is shorter. And another thing, see the nuclei. The nuclei are 1 or 2 in each muscle fiber, and their position is center of the muscle fiber, here on the periphery, here in the center. And third thing, you will also see the striations here, as in the skeletal muscle fiber. The striations are seen, so you can confuse. Right? Striations you will see also in the LS of the cardiac muscle and LS of the skeletal muscle. The difference remaining on the nuclei, position of the nuclei. Understand? And third point is branching. Look, this muscle fiber is branched with this muscle fiber. This is branched with. So branching pattern is there. See the third muscle, smooth muscle. In smooth muscle, longitudinal section. Understand? So you have to mention also this section is LS or TS. The diagram which you are drawing, write down. This is LS of skeletal muscle, this is LS of cardiac muscle, or this is the TS. Okay? Everything should be clear in your mind. In a smooth muscle, the muscle fibers are spongy. Muscle fibers are spongy, not elongated. One thing. Another thing, the nucleus is single and present in the center. No striations. No striations seen in the cardiac, in the smooth muscle. Up to this point is clear? Now come to the another point. The skeletal muscle is under the will. So we can say the skeletal muscle is under the voluntary control. The skeletal muscle is under the voluntary control, while the cardiac muscle and smooth muscle, are involuntary in control. They are involuntary, while the skeletal muscle is voluntary. Now look this diagram. When we focus the slide of longitudinal section of the skeletal muscle, you will see such type of the picture. The thing which I just narrated you, look, elongated muscle fiber, no branching pattern. They are running parallel to each other. And see the nuclei. Nuclei are flattened, multiple, and situated on the periphery. Third thing, look, each muscle fiber are showing the striations, lines. The lines are dark lines and light lines. Between the dark line, you are seeing the light part. That is the light line. This is called striations, transverse striations. The transverse striations, the dark line is called A band. A band, A stands for anisotropic band. Anisotropic band. That means when the light is focused on this part, the light is not reflected. Because of that, it is dark. A band is named as anisotropic band. Sometimes when you are replying well, the examiner may ask you why it is called A band. So you should be ready for reply. A means A stands for anisotropic band. So when the light is focused, the light is not reflected. Because of that, it is the dark in color. Another is I band, isotropic band. I band is isotropic band. The light is, when focused on this, the light is reflected. Okay, because of that, that looks light in color. Another point which I have just told you, the skeletal muscle fibers are voluntary, transverse striations and each and everything. Now see the cardiac muscle. The longitudinal section of the cardiac muscles, the muscle fibers are elongated. Same, no doubt the length is shorter. Important part, see the branching pattern. The muscle fibers are branched. And another thing, see the nuclei. The nuclei are one or two in each muscle fiber, not multiple. And the shape of nucleus is oval. Oval in shape. And third thing, centrally present in the muscle fiber. They are present in the center. So, by these features, we can easily differentiate that the section is of skeletal muscle fiber or cardiac muscle fiber. No doubt, the books are mentioning and present there is also intercalated disc of cardiac muscle, which is the special feature of the cardiac muscle. Okay, but that intercalated disc you can see only under electron microscope. Follow my point? So while discussing or replying the examiner, don't use the intercalated disc. Sir, this is intercalated disc. जब देखी नहीं रही तो कहाँ से बताओगे? You should be clear each and everything. Understand my point? Generally, students do the mistake. Continuous बोलते जाते हैं. Sir, this is intercalated disc. My dear, intercalated disc is visible only under electron microscope. You are seeing under the light microscope. Here you will not see the intercalated disc. The intercalated disc, I will tell you what is its importance and where you find. It is seen at the junctional point. And purpose of the intercalated disc is it transmits the impulse. It transmits the impulse from one cell to another cell immediately. That is the purpose of intercalated disc. Okay. The intercalated disc is a special feature of cardiac muscle. In theory part you may write. When the question asks you in theory, you can write this, that special feature of cardiac muscle is intercalated disc, and the purpose of intercalated disc is it transmits the impulse from one cell to another cell immediately. Look, this is the longitudinal section of the smooth muscle fiber. The smooth muscle fiber, not elongated, and their shape is, what is the shape of a smooth muscle fiber? Fusiform or smooth. It is fusiform in shape, and the nucleus are present in the center, single in number, and no branching pattern. Okay, no branching pattern, and it is under the involuntary in control. And look down, this is the transverse section. The nucleus is present in the center. That is the reason I am not giving you the transverse section of cardiac muscle or smooth muscle, because when we see the transverse section of the both cardiac muscle and smooth muscle, the same picture. So you can't judge. Even then we can't judge which is the cardiac muscle and which is the smooth muscle of transverse section. Because of that, I am not including that. That can be differentiated only by spatial staining. That can be differentiated by only spatial staining, not by this hemotoxin eosin staining. Okay, so see the longitudinal section. This longitudinal section is very important. Now look the transverse section of the skeletal muscle fiber. Whenever we talk of anything, the muscle fiber, outermost covering of the muscle fiber of the connective tissue layer, and that connective tissue layer is called the epimysium. Epimysium. Then, as look this diagram, this is the skeletal muscle. As previously I told you, the muscle is consisting of bundle of the muscle fiber. So look here, these are the bundle of the muscle fiber. This bundle of muscle fiber, they are collected here, and another bundle of muscle fiber here, like this. Okay, and this whole of the bundle of muscle fiber is covering outside. So that part, which is whole of the muscle, is covering on outside by connective tissue layer, that is called epimysium. That is called epimysium. Now look the each bundle. किसी भी एक बंडल को देख लीजिए. See this bundle. You are seeing these interpreted lines surrounding this bundle, and that interpreted line of this bundle is called perimysium. So try to understand. The whole muscle is covered peripherally outside by connective tissue layer, that is called epimysium. When we see the inner part of the muscle, there is bundle of the muscle fiber, and each bundle of muscle fiber is surrounded by perimysium. Okay. Third thing, now see the single muscle fiber. What is the bundle of muscle fiber? That is the bundle of the muscle fiber. So see any muscle fiber. The muscle fiber itself is covered by another connective tissue layer, and that is called endomysium. Okay, all right. You replied, and right. My next question will be, what is the necessity of these connective tissue covering? Give me answer. What is the necessity of this connective tissue? Epimysium भी हो गया, पेरीमाइसियम भी हो गया, एंडोमाइसियम भी हो गया. क्यों? As I told you in general class of connective tissue, the connective tissue covering, they provide the blood supply and nerve supply to each muscle fiber. that will be answer. So these epimysium, endomysium, perimysium, through these the blood supply and nerve supply are reaching to the muscle fiber. Okay. Now you will be ready to reply answer. अब अगर चुप रहे तो मेरे से बुरा नहीं होगा. I feel problem because I am telling you each and every point, and still you people are giving the mask face. There must be some point. The point is either you don't understand or you may have the language problem. So please don't repeat this. All right, it is clear. Have you noticed one thing? See the position of the nucleus in the transverse section, each muscle fiber. The nucleus are present on the periphery, not in the center. Okay? The nuclei are present on the periphery, not in the center. That is the transverse section of skeletal muscle fiber. This is the another diagram. Now everything should be clear in your mind. What is the epimysium? What is the perimysium? And now look this diagram. This is the LS of cardiac muscle. See the position of the nucleus, number of nucleus. Number of nucleus either 1 or 2 in each muscle fiber. Second thing, the branching pattern. Muscle fiber are branched with each other. Third thing, striations. You are seeing the striations here. The striations also in the skeletal muscle. Okay, no doubt the staining of the striations are weak, but that is not so important part. You will see the striations in both skeletal muscle as well as in cardiac muscle. The difference is that branching pattern and the position of the nucleus and number of the nucleus. Okay. And another thing, the intercalated disc is shown here. And while making the diagram in theory class, you also draw the intercalated disc. Only the important part that while answering the question, you don't speak intercalated disc. You are from your side. If examiner asks you, then reply. And if some examiners, I hope that none of them will ask you, but some may ask you, show me the intercalated disc. Then reply, sir, this is the section that we are seeing under the light microscope, in which we cannot see the intercalated disc. Now see this diagram. Here you are seeing see this first one, the dark line and light line. So dark is called A band and lighter is called I band. Okay, this is the longitudinal section of the skeletal muscle fiber. Now see the second diagram. My dear, don't murmuring. समझ लो. Otherwise you will not understand in physiology also. Look the second diagram. The dark band, which is the A band. A band is also intersected by the blue color line. That is called M line. And M line indicates only the peripheral junction of the two dark bands. See the dark band. In the center of the dark band A band, M line is shown. If the examiner asks, what is the purpose of this M line? Nothing else. It is just, look, where it is present, in the center of the dark band. So this is only the connecting the peripheral part of the dark band, nothing else. Okay. Now see the I band, lighter band. The lighter band is also intersected in the center, and that is the Z line. That is the Z line. Okay. So I band and A band, they are intersected in the middle. The I band intersected by the Z line, and the A band is intersected by M line. The M line function, I just told you that it is peripheral connection connecting with the adjacent part of A band. In I band, look, the I band, this one, and the adjacent Z line is this one. So the part of the myofibrils present between the adjacent Z line, देखिए समझ लीजिए, this is one Z line, this is another Z line, so both are the adjacent. So the myofibril present between adjacent Z line, that is called sarcomere. That is called sarcomere. Now see the third diagram. This is all seen in under the electron microscope. In light microscope you will see this picture, only the first diagram, not all these. Okay, so don't come me, sir ये तो दिख ही नहीं रहा. You will see only the A band and I band in light microscope. This is just to make you understand how the contraction of the muscle is taking place. See the third one, the A band. This A band part, which is intersected by the M line, and this is the another M line, and this is the middle part, Z line. So when the contraction of the muscle, when we are saying that muscle are doing the contraction, so what happen in the contraction? A band is not reduced, it remains as it is. No widening of the A band. First thing, there is only narrowing of the Z line, the narrowing of this part of the I band, and second thing, so first point is narrowing of only the I band. In I band, that this part is the Z line. No widening of the A band in contraction. And another important part in the contraction of muscle is two Z line comes closer. Two Z lines comes closer. How they comes closer? By narrowing of this part, this region. The Z line of this will be narrow, this will be narrow. So the two Z line will come closer. That is the purpose of contraction of the muscle. Okay, why you become so serious? Whenever you are reading enjoyful. If you are not in the mood, don't read. Before starting the reading, make your mood. Then you can retain the parts. If you are reading just doing the purpose of reading, it hardly remains for more than 1 hour or half an hour in your mind. So don't do this thing. Now at present you are not in position to make your parents that I am reading. That is doing your own. ठीक है? Okay. So you can easily identify the slides of this. Now the differentiating points between skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle and smooth muscle, I just narrated you. The skeletal muscle fibers are elongated muscle fibers consisting of multiple nuclei. The nuclei are flattened and multiple flattened nuclei present on the periphery. They are showing the striations. Transverse striations are consisting of A band, I bands, and another thing, the skeletal muscle fibers are not showing the branching pattern. They are not showing the branching pattern, and it is under the control of voluntary. It is voluntary control. Cardiac muscle fibers, no doubt, the elongated muscle fiber, but length is shorter compared to the skeletal muscle fiber. It is necessary to use the word comparison. Otherwise, to shorten to what? So your answer should be complete. It is shortened in length compared to the skeletal muscle fiber. The number of the nucleus in each muscle fibers are 1 or 2 present in the center. The shape of nucleus is oval shape. Striations also present here. Branching pattern is there, which is not shown in the skeletal muscle fiber. Lastly, it is under the involuntary in control. In smooth muscle fibers, no striations, no branching pattern, muscle fibers are fusiform in shape, the position of the nucleus in the center and always 1 in number, and it is under the involuntary control. So the common feature of the cardiac muscle and smooth muscle are, anyone just narrated me? Anyone stand up and speak? Look the condition. At present you are turning your to. Why not you speak? Get up and speak. You understand my question? What is the same features of cardiac muscle and smooth muscle? Yes, both are involuntary. And another, nucleus is the also common feature. 1, here is the 1, there is maybe 1 or 2, not necessary that 2 will be there, 1 or 2, and positions are same, right? So study like this, compare, that will remain for longer time. I am telling you how to retain, okay, and both are involuntary. Lastly, I am telling you just that is not the part of histology. Skeletal muscle fibers may be red muscle fiber, yellow or white. Alright, when you are speaking, so you must be knowing where you find the red muscle fiber. Before that, I am telling you why it is called red muscle fiber. Myoglobin and cytochrome, both are rich in the red muscle fiber. Both are the skeletal. In red muscle fiber, the myoglobin and cytochrome, and third thing, mitochondria, they are very larger in number. And where these muscle fibers are present? Postural muscles. Postural muscles are red muscle fiber. Understand? Postural muscles are red muscle fibers. White muscle fibers are comparatively poor in myoglobin and also cytochrome and mitochondria, and these are present in human being extraocular muscles. Extraocular muscles, muscles around the eyeball, they are white muscle fibers.